Howdy Myco fam, Jesse here. So in my second video around mushroom fruiting blocks, the one before this, I actually went into the unicorn bag, the filter patch, and the mix that I use. Now I actually want to show you what the customer experience looks like. I want to show you the mushroom block unboxing. So here, USPS has just come. Through rain and snowstorm, they have brought you a package. It may look like this, it may look like some other type of packing, but it will say, from the humble fungus. You will take this box. You will not cut it open with a knife. There is delicate stuff in here. If you can, use a very fine knife. Just don't cut this. You'll cut the block. Now, just very slowly open it. Now, what you get is this fully operational sticker pack. This is amazing. I can imagine your screams of joy getting a whole bunch of really cool stickers. Also in your box, you will find the mushroom fruiting block that you ordered. Now, this mushroom fruiting block is a turkey tip. Now, as you can see, this is just sitting in the box. And what it is, what's happened here is when I pull these out of the dark tin, they look like this, right? And oh my God, that's pinning. Holy cow. Cool. I gotta fruit this. Anyways, so when they're in the dark, they look like this. What this gas is CO2 in oxygen. Basically, it's all the stuff that the fungus is excreting that's going in and out of this filter patch. Now, the filter patch is super fine. When I squeeze this, the gas does not escape. This means that before I ship this to you, usually what I do is, and so this is a gold oyster, so I'll just do it anyways. I pop the bag, grab some tape, I escape the air. Holy cow. Yeah, that's super duper pinning. And actually, while I'm here, because this is looking a bit like a mess, I'll leave it. Anyways, so I've escaped the air. Escaped it completely. I want to roll this down. Why am I doing this? Well, so the mushroom as it grows, or the fungus as it grows, will pin. What that means is baby mushrooms will start to grow no matter what you do. They will grow in this plastic, they will grow in nuclear waste, etc. What I'm doing is I'm actually rolling this down, because what happens is that fungi do not do photosynthesis. They only use light, natural daylight or synthetic light, to determine the direction that they are going to fruit. So, the first thing I want to do is I want to know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that these are going to point in the direction I want. If I just left this air in the top of the bag, it would just fruit upward, and that's not what I want. And I'll show you that later. So here, imagine I pulled this out of the box. I've escaped the air for you, and now you have your fruiting blocks sitting at your home. They're escaped. So these are not what's called top fruiting mushrooms. In other words, there are types of mushrooms such as morel, king oysters, pio pino, and chestnut that prefer to grow out of the top of the block, right? That is their natural way to fruit. Most oyster mushrooms and things like chestnut don't follow that. In other words, you can cut a hole here, they'll fruit here, cut a hole here, they'll fruit here, etc. So, before I cut some holes here, what have we learned? Well, the air's escaped. What does the escaping the air and pulling this bag tight do? Well, it reduces, number one, the amount of air and exposed surface area in here. It will discourage pins or baby mushrooms from growing all over this, except where you cut, right? So now I've got this fruiting block, and this is a turkey tail block. Turkey tail is a shelf-like fungi, and so what it wants to do is it actually wants to fruit out the side and make this cool little shelf. So since it's a side fruiter or a shelf fungi, what I'm going to do very, very easily, now that I've got my block at home, I'm going to take it, pull it out of the box. I'm going to wash my hands. This is isopropyl alcohol, you don't have to use it. And I'm going to just very, very lightly wipe down the surface, just keep all the goobers out. Clean my knife. This is an X-Acto knife. You can use a blade like this. And so for turkey tail, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to take this knife, stab it in, and you notice I pushed it in about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Drag it across the surface. Stab it, drag it. So this, in theory, the turkey tail should now fruit from these slits. And I'll add another one. Now we'll see how that goes. So that was the turkey tail. What about a regular oyster mushroom? Oyster mushrooms are indiscriminate fruiters, right? They will pin, they will grow out of the top, the side, etc. For these, what you want to do is you want to expose more surface area. So what did I do here when I cut this bag? First, I escaped all the air, pulled the bag tight, and taped it over. That discourages side pinning, it reduces, it will basically force the fungus to detect the air, the oxygen, and the other elements, the moisture hitting in these little holes. That tells the fungus to fruit here versus here. So first thing you do, escape the air, expose it to light, cut some holes, and the mushroom will fruit through that. So gold oysters. You can side fruit these, you can top fruit these, etc. For side fruiting, which is what I recommend for most people, this is how the mushrooms grow. So you can see these 2 blocks, they're just sitting there. I cut a hole here, the mushrooms grow here. If I have the same block and I lay it on its side, the mushrooms grow up. Easy. And it doesn't really matter how you do it, right? It's just personal taste, how you want them to grow, etc. So, how do I cut these bags? Well, the key to this is obviously surface area, and I'm looking for a Sharpie. Damn it, Jesse. All right. So if the turkey tail was just straight slits across for a shelf fungi, for a gold oyster, I actually want more surface area. Now you can cut an X, but that exposes the center, and the center will dry out and you won't get mushrooms there. You can actually cut one slit, but that doesn't actually expose enough surface area. So it's a balance. So what I favor is this N. What this does is it exposes most of the face of the block to the elements, which will cause the mushrooms to explode through here. And what it allows me to do is later tape it over for second and third flushes. So here, just like the turkey tail, I'm going to cut where I've marked. Clean off the knife, stab it in, get it nice and irritated. Now the reason why I'm stabbing it in is actually to disturb the fungus. I actually wanted to think that this is soil in a forest that somebody's walked on, like an animal's dug up, it's something, the soil is irritated. The fungus will just shoot out of that space. And you're done. That's it. So if I had this at home, what I would do is after cutting these holes, I would get a mist bottle of water and I would spray this once to twice daily to keep it moist. And in about a week to 2 weeks, you should see pins. Now, if you get pins over here and not where you cut, ignore them. They will kill themselves and move on. The fungus is going to move. You're going to see mushrooms kind of like growing all over the place as it finds this hole, and then blue mushrooms. They're crawlers. They will crawl and find the exposed space to pin. You don't have to cut extra holes to expose those baby mushrooms. You can if you want to, it doesn't hurt anything. So, hopefully that's been helpful on how to handle your mushroom blocks at home. Next up, I'll cover some harvests here and top fruiters.